What is up? What is up? What is up? Live from the Diddy trial. Hit that like button, guys, as you guys come inside. Man. Jane Doe, guys. Jane Doe is on the stand testifying, and she will be here testifying over the next couple of court days. So it's good. She's going to be testifying until like end of Monday into Tuesday. She has been saying some things on that stand, which leads some people to believe Rico, Rico, Rico. I'm going to get into that in a few minutes with the sex trafficking, drug trafficking, and people. I hear people, Rico, she's proven Rico. And I'm going to get into why Diddy may beat these federal charges, guys. Hit that like button. As I told you guys last night in the live stream that Diddy has already won over the jurors, at least enough jurors to maybe hang the jury. Or he needs just one or two to not agree with these Fed charges that says he is guilty of running a criminal enterprise at Bad Boy Records with people, his underlings under him. Hit that like button, though, guys. Hit that like button. I'm going to explain. First things first, the person that's testifying is Jane Doe, right? As you guys know. And people have been saying, there's a rumors going around, and even including people that was inside the courtroom, they have been saying that that person testifying is 50 Cent's baby moms, right? Now, this is a Instagram post from 50 Cent himself, trolling. He is trolling. 50 Cent says, "Hey, does anyone know who Jane Doe is? I'm trying to research this. Man, this stuff with Elon and Trump is crazy." So that's 50 Cent's post on Instagram. That's 50 Cent's post on Instagram. 50 Cent hears everybody saying that that's 50 Cent's baby mama. That's his baby mama testifying that she had the free calls from Diddy and this and that. And 50 Cent is trolling on Instagram with these Instagram posts right there. That's another one he had posted. "Hey, does anyone know who Jane Doe is? I'm trying to research this. Man, this stuff with Elon and Trump is crazy." So that's the sketch of the person that's testifying today. 50 Cent is trolling hard right now. Now, he did put a real photo of his baby moms, and I'm not going to show that real photo of her. It looks similar. The sketch and the real photo he posted on Instagram looks similar, but like I said, I'm not going to show her real photo up here. They are trying to protect this lady's identity, but people are saying that that's 50 Cent's baby mom. 50 Cent also posted a photo of him holding his kid in his arms, saying, "What the F?" And so 50 Cent is trolling hard, guys. He is trolling hard. Like I said, this case just gets more and more weird by the day. Hit the like button as you guys come in. Because like I said, guys, 50 Cent has been trolling. He has been trolling because some people saying baby mother is on that stand. Supposedly, finally proven Rico yet again. We've heard this story before, guys. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. People yelling, "Rico, Rico, Rico, Rico." Now, I'm going to tell you why he might beat this anyway. Like I said, he already has some of the jurors, right? So really the prosecutors now, in my point of view, the prosecutors have an uphill battle because they got to flip those jurors. I'm telling you, some of those jurors pretty much is rooting Diddy's defense team on. All right, and it's only about the 12 jurors is all that matters. You know what I mean? It's all that matters. Okay, and let me see who's in this building. Salute. Don't think Diddy is getting off, says Ajima's World. Shout out to you, Ajima. So Ajima says he doesn't think you're buying what the prosecutors is selling. Okay, so shout out to you, Ajima's World. IMAC, Rico not getting time for sex trafficking. Says IMAC. Now I'm gonna get into the details. The devil is in the details. I'm going to break it down for you guys. This lady up there is testifying that she had a relationship about 3 years with Diddy, and she was pretty much coerced into doing freak offs with multiple women. But here's the kicker: Diddy paid her $10,000 a month for her rent. That guy is the devil is in the details, guys. She was getting paid $10,000 a month rent. She is a consenting adult, guys. Consenting adult, and she is crying up there, acting like she was forced to do all of that stuff. Now, guys, y'all should come out here one day and see these Asians. These Asians can play some ball out here in Lower Manhattan. They can play some ball. Now, consenting adults, guys. I haven't heard anything about underage yet. No underage victims have testified in this trial yet. Consenting adults. Now we're going to get into the sex trafficking and them hiring, because she testified that they hired sex workers to go across state lines all the way out there to California from, I guess, New York. And technically that's sex trafficking, right, guys? Technically. But these are consenting adults, and I believe the jury it won't convict them on that. I tell you, you got to get all 12. Those are consenting adults, guys, that got paid money. Technically, if it was a judge, the one that's going to make guilty or not guilty, yeah, the judge. If it was a trial by judge and he was making a decision, the judge would find them guilty. But I'm not sure if the jurors really care about that. Consenting adults, I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you, that guys got to hit that like button. We're going to get into the drug trafficking also, because some things came out about the drug trafficking. Jane said that she was told that first Combs would call someone to bring him drugs when they'd run out. Jane testifies. Jane testified that when Sean Diddy Combs would run out of drugs during a hotel night, he called an assistant, a butler, or one of his security guards. She said they come to the hotel with drugs like coke, ecstasy, Molly, Xanax, and moke, whatever that is. Now, guys, people are screaming, Rico, Rico. He's having his butler bring him drugs and this and that. Guys, is this a stretch? It seemed like Diddy was a drug addict. Not seemed he was a drug addict. Seems like his girls that was inside the free calls with him, which were consenting adults, either became drug addicts by dealing with Diddy. Willingly, he's paying her $10,000 a month. Yeah. There is some type of crime, I guess, just handling drugs, doing drugs, right? But is this Rico federal racketeering? Are you giving him 15 years to life for personal use of drugs? These are personal use. I'm going to get into the testimony about her taking drugs on the plane to take it out there to LA, right? For their personal use. I know about, taking drugs on a plane is a crime. I know that. I'm not stupid. But it's for personal use. This is not like Pablo Escobar. Intercontinental drug trafficking, kilos of coke to spread across the communities, guys. Because they asked her, did you move drugs for Diddy? She said yes. She testified, yes, I moved drugs for Diddy. But here's the kicker. But she bought it on a plane. It was for their own personal use, so they could get high, not to spread out there in the communities, to sell on the streets, kilos. The jury is not stupid. The jurors is not stupid. Guys, people say Rico. All right, Rico. Remember, Diddy's team is going to cross-examine her next week. Diddy's team is going to get the final word on this. And guess what? Those jurors are going to be going goo goo gaga once again. Once they start tripping this lady up, that maybe or maybe not be 50 Cent's baby mother, they're going to get into Why she stayed with him, why she didn't just leave. Diddy told her she can leave. She don't have to participate, but you're not going to get this $10,000 a month. You're not going to get this $10,000 a month for your rent. She stayed for the money. A consenting adult, guys. I think there was crimes committed with the drug use. There was a crime committed with taking that drugs on the plane, right? But is it 15 years to life? This is not intercontinental drug trafficking in that sense. He's not selling the drugs. They're addicts. I was born that night, not last night. That's why I wouldn't want to be a part of that jury, because I'm not going to do the government's job for them. Charge the man properly. Charge the man properly, and you could get a conviction. You get him some jail time. Government look less incompetent, and Diddy probably get some debt forgiveness. Music industry and toilet, or his clothing, perfume, side hustles are probably dried up by now, and Diddy's washed up. Shout out to you, Chris. Hit that like button, guys. I'm just trying to make sense of all this, guys. I'm bringing y'all guys what I'm seeing. The Diddy's defense team is going to eat this lady up next week. They're going to turn the tables on her, and everybody that's screaming Rico Rico is going to be pissed off at Diddy's defense team when they cross-examine her and put her on the hot seat. Put her on the hot seat, guys. Let me see what y'all got. Shout out to Drop or Not. Shout out to Fake Nico. Shout out to Rico, not Diddy, getting time for a sex trafficking. IMAC. Do you believe he's gonna get 15 years, IMAC, though? What about 20,000 blackmail transfer? How did Diddy's team cross-examine that? Yeah, I went through that the other day. Auto Will. Basically, what did they say to the lady about the no, not the lady, but the CFO? There was a CFO. Now, what happened with that Auto Will? Guess what? It's about the jurors, right? That is true. And I said the prosecutors got to win with that $20,000 blackmail, right? But then Diddy sent the money back to the parents of he sent the $20,000 back. He wired it back. So he did do a dirty deed by doing that blackmail. The parents of Cassie did send the money, but then he sent it back like a week later, right? Now you can say that was Rico because that was blackmail and this and that. But he sent the money back, right? Now, after that, they started cross-examining. They didn't really bring that up. They just was cross-examining her about her saying that she couldn't leave after 7 years. She, ordered the text messages and stuff like that. They were cross-examining her more about, I'm talking about Mia, saying that Mia wasn't a victim, right? So basically, Diddy's defense team, they didn't really go much in on that $20,000. And I'm saying Diddy has won over the jury because that cross-examination and the gawking and the fawning of the jurors, they have been doing that after that whole $20,000 thing. You know what I'm saying? So he won over the jury even after that whole $20,000 thing came out, right? It's all about the jurors. It's all about the jurors. Them jurors, some of them jurors don't care about that $20,000. They don't care. Watch. I'm telling you guys. Watch next week when maybe Brian Steele start cross-examining her. That jury now they're trying to be more stoic now. They're trying not to show much emotion now, but they are going to show. It's going to show that they are going to be rooting for Diddy's defense team. That's what I'm saying. Diddy may beat these charges. I know people are screaming Rico, Rico, Rico. I'm telling you, we're about to have an OJ moment. Don't think Diddy's getting off. All right, let's see. Rico or not, Diddy getting time for his sex trafficking. Now, like I said, if I was in that jury, I would not convict them for sex trafficking because I don't believe in that. Those women and those sex workers were paid money to. I know the laws. I know the law. I know the law says technically that is right. You can get him on buying prostitutes. Charge the man correctly. He did not kidnap any of those sex workers. Those sex workers were not underage, the ones that are being talked about. Consenting adults. Get them on prostitution. That's why I won't be able to be in a jury. And some of those jurors probably feel the same way I feel. That's what I'm saying. He might beat the charges. I think the feds may have overreached with this. I'm seeing it more now. I'm seeing it more now. Like I said, the drug trafficking, yeah, that is a crime. She took the drugs for personal use on a plane. And really, to be honest with you, there's still no proof of that. This is just her word. She's just like the other females. It's just her word. Where's the paper trail? What? How do you know that she won't get caught up in a lie next week? Like the person that said Diddy dangled her off of the balcony. He wasn't even in the same state. He wasn't in the same state. So the jurors have to believe these female words. Will they believe another witness like Jane Doe now? After more than likely 99%, the last female got caught up in a lie on cross-examination. I'm keeping it real. Hit that like button, guys. The court system and his lawyers are going to clean out his bank account, says the Ajima's World. That is true. He has about 10 of them, and they are getting paid handsomely for this. 50 Cent is such a troll. Allegedly, says Drabanot. Raze staying cool today in Mama's basement. No, we outside. We outside. We are in the park. These Chinese guys are, are balling out here. But I'm in the shade right now because my phone be overheating, and it cut off a couple of times out here. So I'm staying in the shade, and I feel it getting hot right now. So I'm gonna try to do this quick. Hit that like button though, guys. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, guys. Let me guys, I'm telling you, some of you guys might not believe me. Y'all might say Rico, 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 Rico. Well, like I said, I told you yesterday, he's already won over the jurors. So now the feds got to come from behind, and they have to flip the jurors to their side. Unless you're going to tell me that the jury is going to feel pressured to find him guilty, maybe peer pressure from some of the other jurors that when they go into deliberation, that they're probably going to feel pressured by the government, pressured by the judge to find him guilty. And people that were fawning over Diddy's defense team, they say, okay, yeah, all right, guilty. Just go along with it. But with that drug trafficking, yeah, like he's Pablo Escobar. Kilos of coke on planes, to spread into the black community and this and that. No, it was his own personal use of ecstasy pills. That is a crime, doing that, though. That is a crime. But is that 15 years, 20 years, life to help the government with the federal RICO trial? Rotten Mango and Tissa Tails think he's cooked. Hey, well, we know Tissa Tails don't like him. Listen, Tissa Tails herself, she's the one said that the jurors was fawning and loving the Diddy's defense team. Like I said, this is not a judge. The judge is not going to be the one convict him. He's just going to sentence him. Now, I would agree if this was a judge, a trial by judge, and he had the power to find Diddy guilty or not, yeah, I would say, well, yeah, Diddy more than likely is cooked because the judge is going to look at the letter of the law. The judge may believe this Jane Doe. Now, guys, remember, this Jane Doe, this is still circumstantial evidence. She's going to get cross-examined, guys. I'm telling you, do not count your eggs before they hatch. She's going to get cross-examined. I'm telling you, we're going to be back here again next week saying what a masterful job Diddy's team did And those jurors are going to be he and ha-haing over Diddy's defense team. I'm telling you, I'm thinking that this Diddy defense is doing a massive job. And I'm thinking some of those people on those jurors, on that jury, they don't want to convict Diddy with the way they're behaving. Knowing that Diddy beat up Cassie. Knowing he may even have sexually assaulted her. They were still pretty much applauding Diddy's defense team on cross-examination of Mia, victim number 4, an alleged ex victim. It's all about those 12 jurors, guys. You know, it's all about those 12 jurors. It's not about what us as content creators think. You know, it's about those 12 jurors. Read the jury. For the people that's coming inside the courtroom, read the jury. Read how those jurors. There's a reason Diddy was nodding his head during the testimony to those jurors. He thinks he's won over the jurors, and the judge had to tell him to stop. Now, not all, when I say run over the jurors, I'm not saying all 12 jurors. I'm saying 1 or 2. That's all he needs. I don't think that those 1 or 2 give a damn about the freak offs, about the sex trafficking, because they weren't underage. Those are consenting adults that were paid. And this Jane Doe is crying about, oh, I was taking drugs with Diddy. Yeah, I used to enjoy the sex and this and that, but he said he wasn't gonna pay me the $10,000 no more if I stopped doing the sex with him and the other men. I didn't want to do with the other men, so I stayed around. Are you kidding me? This is a grown lady. That she could have stopped. She could have got a job. And now she's over here testifying, ratting, when she was paid $10,000 a month rent, partying, taking drugs with her druggy boyfriend Diddy. Are you kidding me? She is going to get killed on that stand next week when Diddy's team cross-examines her. And then guess what? All of that, oh, she transferred drugs for Diddy so they can take. That's going to be forgotten. That's going to be forgotten. Now, of course, in their closing statements, the prosecutors are going to bring it back up in their closing statements. But are they overcharging him? That's what I'm saying. Should this have been separate charges? Yeah, you could have got him on something. You know, transporting drugs in a plane. But you still have to have proof. I mean, it's still her word versus their word. Because did they get stopped by TSA? Is there evidence? Because you know what's going to happen now. Like I said, we can assume that this happened. Why is she lying? Well, hell, I said the same thing about the last girl that said she was dangled over the balcony. Yeah, why would she lie? Yeah, Diddy probably did that. But no, he wasn't even in the same goddamn state at the time. So she was lying. 99% chance she was lying. Unless she got her dates crossed up. He was inside the Trump Hotel in New York. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. I'm making sense of it all. I'm putting it out there for you guys. I'm laying it out. Diddy may beat this. All he needs is 1 juror. When I told you guys last night that he has won over the jury, that's big. It doesn't really matter. No, nothing else. Unless they come out with some crazy evidence, hardcore evidence, video cameras, receipts, and not just witness testimony that's going to get shot down by the Diddy defense team. They're smart. They're not going to really mention the trafficking as far as taking the drugs. They're probably not even going to really ask her much, cross-examine her much on that. They probably won't even want to bring that back up. I will like to see how they do. I mean, I would like them to bring it up, but I'm not sure. I think they might just want the jurors to forget about it and don't remember that part. You get what I'm saying? I'm telling you. But if they do, it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. That would be interesting to see because that is a crime. But does she have evidence of that? You know what I'm saying? Diddy seem to say, well, she's saying that, but I mean, there's no evidence of that. You know, there's technically no evidence of that. I mean, you wouldn't believe her. I mean, we didn't see this is what Diddy's defense team has in their back pocket. Well, we just proved your last witness put forward by the prosecution was lying. We called her a liar to her face. She didn't really 100% outright disagree. Well, she said, no, it's not true, but she wasn't, you know, forceful in that. So your last person you had testifying against Diddy, we caught her in a lie, blatant lie about being dangled. Who's to say this person is not lying? Just because she's a federal witness doesn't mean she's not lying. We done proved that with your last female witness. Your last female alleged victim. Yives Heal, how when they got evidence, DICC, what's the evidence? Yives, all right, what's the evidence? This lady, where is her evidence besides word of her mouth? Like I said, prosecutors shot themselves in the foot with the person from yesterday on that stand. They caught her in a lie, and what, 99% chance she was lying about being dangled, and that's huge. Diddy could have killed her, dropped her 17 stories. Now, if the prosecutors could put somebody like that up there, and more than likely get caught up in a lie, who's to say this lady is not lying? A lot of this stuff is circumstantial. Is the female's word versus Diddy's word. Yives Hill. Now, I'm not going to go in on you, Yives Hill, because, you know, you might just want to believe everything the feds tell you in this case, and you might be disappointed with the results when I'm telling you that Diddy has won over the jurors. A lot of this, he said, she said, is going to get cross-examined, bro, just like yesterday. Everybody was like, wow, Diddy is evil. He hung that lady over the balcony. Why would he do that? What an evil demon. Come to find out, she was more than likely lying. Yives. So where was her evidence? She had zero evidence about that. And I guess you was believing that too. Oh, they got the evidence, D-head. They got the evidence, D-head, right? So you believe the girl that was hung over the balcony? So you said the same thing yesterday when you was hearing her testimony, right? Until Diddy's team ripped her apart and told her a liar to her face. Watch next week when Diddy's team get this Jane Doe on cross-examination. He paid her $10,000 a month for her rent, this Jane person. And now she's crying. Okay? Now I'm going to get into the drugs. This is from CNN. James says Combs' chief of staff told her it was fine to fly drugs. Okay? Jane recorded a time in 2022 when Combs directed her to pick up drugs from security personnel at his Los Angeles home and fly them to meet him in Miami. Hit the like button, guys. Right? She spoke with Christina Karam, Combs' former chief of staff, about picking up the package at Combs' home. I just asked her if this was safe and okay. Jane said, recalling that she didn't feel safe traveling with drugs. Of course, we know that's illegal. Jane said Karam told her, it's fine. I do it all the time. Just put it in your checked luggage, okay? Jane flew with the drugs to Miami and later took ecstasy with Combs that she said came from the package she traveled with. A couple weeks later, Jane said Combs asked her to take another package to Miami, and Karam told her security would come outside Combs' home to give her the package. Jane said she put the package in her luggage and flew to Miami. She then gave the drugs, which she said were ecstasy, to Combs, and they took them later. So that is a crime, right? We all can agree with that. We're not stupid. We're not dumb. Can't take drugs on a plane, right? but it was for personal use. It wasn't Pablo Escobar drug trafficking in that sense of bringing kilos of cocaine, smuggling drugs into the United States, into Miami, and putting it on the streets. Okay? Now, there's levels to this. That's why I'm saying maybe they overcharged them. Maybe they could have got them on a crime with just this right here. But I don't think all of those jurors are going to buy this as a big deal, really, to be honest with you. If they would have charged, like, now, if they would have charged them properly, and you give the jurors a chance to convict them on just this, you know what I mean? And first of all, this is just her testimony. There's still no hardcore evidence that this happened. This is her testifying to it. Now, if you want to believe her, like I said, I mean, if you want to believe her, it's just like all the other people that's been testifying. You know, you can either believe them or not. Mr. Softy, she could have gotten a job, says Classy. She was a willing participant. The only thing people could say now is the Rico Rico. And it's like, thank God she said the thing about taking the drugs on a plane, right? Thank God she said the thing about the sex workers flying over from New York to LA, right? Sex trafficking, we got them. But to be honest with you guys, I don't believe some of those jurors care about this. Most of those jurors already know Diddy done paid for sex workers they already know that. We know this. The only thing y'all can hold, only thing that if y'all gonna say, well, Raze, yeah, the jury was on Diddy's side until they heard anything about the drugs being taken on the plane, right? That's the only thing I can give you that might flip the jury. The jury that was cheering on the defense to the Fed side. That's the only thing I can give you. I don't think they give a damn about those prostitutes because they weren't underage and they were consenting adults. The only thing I can see, if they get pressure, the jurors like, look, he did take those drugs on the plane, or he had her transfer the drugs on the plane. It was for personal use, but technically that's a crime. But guys, is that 15 years of life in prison type crime, since it was his personal use, not for selling out on the street. Okay, let's get that clear. So that's gonna be interesting. Like I said, this is gonna be a photo finish. This case is gonna be a photo finish, and I think it's gonna go the way of OJ, from what I'm seeing right now. Because, like I said, this whole trafficking thing is going to be a distant memory next week once Diddy's team get a hold of this Jane Doe. Hit that like button, guys. Anybody new to the channel, guys? Let me see some of your comments. Feds go on sentencing guidelines, says Rasta Saints. Yeah, that's going to be the judge part. But first, they got to get the conviction. First, they got to get those 12 jurors, all 12 jurors, to say guilty. And I'm not sure if they can. From what I've seen, covering this down at the court house, seeing the jurors' reactions, fawning over Diddy's defense team. This is not a slam dunk. How can you tell the judge that he did Meek Mill? This not OJ. Johnny Cochran ain't saving them. All right, well, hey, we'll see. Like I said, it's going to be a photo finish. It's going to be a photo finish. This is not as slam dunk as I first thought it was. It might be a far reach. Well, he took some personal drugs on a plane. Rico, they got him. He's going to jail for life. Nah. That is a crime. That is a crime. How many years do they normally, if you were get caught with a bag of weed trying to go to DR, right? You're gonna get arrested, definitely. How much time would they give you though for that? I know it's a federal crime. How much time would you realistically get for that? For taking some personal use drugs, which you shouldn't do. Don't try this at home. Because you might get a lengthy time. Uh, but it's personal use. You're not, I guess they could say, yeah, drug trafficking. You're trafficking the drug across state lines for yourself, I guess. But like I said, there's levels. It's not like you're bringing it to sell it, distribute it in a black community, in a white community. It's not that, guys. It's different. It's not that. It's idiotic. It's stupid to try. It's very stupid to try to do. See, they got away with it. Now, there's no real hardcore evidence. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how Diddy's team handles that. Will they even bring it up? Or will they just talk about everything else? But that's going to be telling. That's going to be telling. Delusional, if you believe that. Doreen Doss. Let me see. Diddy used to put baby oil on the doorknob so you can't escape. I beg to differ. So Doreen's saying you're saying Diddy is cooked. I'm just telling you, Doreen, don't be surprised if you get an OJ moment in the next few weeks when the jury, or if they come to a plea deal and Diddy don't get no jail time. Don't be so. I just don't want people to be surprised if he's a hung jury or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because Doreen, I bet you y'all guys' tune is going to turn next week once Diddy's team do some cross examination on this. Do you have Judge phone number? I had it, but it got deleted by accident. I had the judge's phone number. You know, me and the judge used to talk every day when we used to travel to the DR. Man, hit the like button, though, guys. Shout out to Bruce M2. So far, they got him on the guns, being a jerk and being a perv, and they also got him. I mean, really, if y'all want to believe that the girl transferred ecstasy for him for personal use on a plane, that's a crime. But you gotta believe that, and I guess like the alleged victims, they really have no real evidence, paperwork, police reports of that. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. I mean, that's the thing. And really, guys, if I didn't think Diddy had already run over some of the jurors, I can side with a Doreen and say, yeah, he might be cooked. But the jury showed their hand. Some of the jurors showed their hand. I don't think some of the jury even want. I think some of the jury is looking for a reason not to convict Diddy, guys. I'm just being honest. These are 12, and I said this from the beginning. When I first started going down to the court, I said these are 12. These are 12 human beings. It's not AI. It's not the judge that's going to be the one to convict them. The judge is going to sentence him, but it's not they chose to have a trial by jury instead of a trial by judge for a reason. Because if it was a trial by judge, yeah, I think the judge would find him guilty of federal racketeering. But I'm just being realistic, guys. I am being realistic. This might be one of those few times where maybe Yeah, my fault, guys. My fault. Phone overheated again. Hit the like button, though, guys. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Y'all can hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. My fault. Anonymous, salute to you. Yeah, phone was overheated. Yo, it's like crazy. I'm gonna have to get a hold of the phone because when the temperature get like this, it's like crazy. Beat the Chargers. Nope. Said nope. Hey, learn. All right. Learn how the law works, people. Let's see what. All right. Learn how the law works, people. Difficult to beat a Fed case with documentary and videos and witness evidence, but Diddy lawyers didn't want to tell him the truth. They wanted his Benjamins. Hey, listen, you're right, 95%. But I think this is gonna be one of those rare occasions because of who he is. He is a celebrity. You know how this goes sometimes. You know, now there has been celebrities being convicted of stuff. Uh, Listen, it's all about the jurors. Now, Rasta Saint, if I'm telling you from reports of the jurors' behavior towards the Diddy team, it's about those 12 jurors. It's not about really right now. It's not even about the history of the feds. 95%. It's about those 12 men, or about 12 men and women on that jury, and I'm telling you that he has won them over. Now, maybe the feds may have won them back over with the whole drugs, the personal use of drugs going in the plane. Maybe they be like, you know what? Yeah, we got to find them guilty. Maybe. But it's about 12 humans. 12 humans that is going to make the decision. And from all reports is that Diddy's defense team miraculously has won over a couple of those jurors. And that's all they need. That's all they need. This is not AI. AI is not going to be the one to convict them. The judge is not going to be the one to convict them. It's going to be 12 human jurors. That kind of seemed like they have been basically buying what the Diddy's defense team is selling. That's all I'm saying. Don't be surprised to have a hung jury. Do not be surprised if there is a hung jury, guys. Do not be surprised, guys. It's not Rico says it might be a stretch. See, when he said, well, he had got her or and his assistant to take him drugs, you know, for personal use. Rico, 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 Rico. Guys, this is not that type of drug trafficking. Guys, it's not the type, the classic, like I said, Escobar. It's not that for distribution. It's for personal use, which is stupid and is a crime to do that, to take that on a plane. But still, it's still just her testimony. And like I said, I can't wait for the cross examination. And yeah, you can get him on if he was charged correctly. Yeah, you could get him on that, having people taking drugs. Well, now what's the sentencing guidelines on that? I don't like the whole idea that maybe this is a outright Rico racketeering. Like it's like the mob, the mafia. Hell, like I said, the Young Thug case. A lot of people said that one seemed more like a Rico federal racketeering more than this one. To be honest with you, this is a lot of sexual, freakish nature stuff. Adults doing nasty, freakish stuff. Consenting adults doing stuff, getting high, druggies, getting their drugs any way possible, even willing to take their drugs on an airplane so they can use them. Right? Which that's a crime. That is a crime. But are you giving this guy life for that? Or you give him life for those freak offs? You give him a life for maybe brainwashing some of these girls to stay. But that $10,000 homegirl was getting that's testifying. Yeah, he brainwashed her with the $10,000 for 3 years, a month that she was getting paid. I'm just saying, is that worth life imprisonment, 15 years. Maybe they should have charged them correctly. I'm starting to think Ray J is probably right. Now you can hope he gets life. Yeah, I understand because the shady character, shady guy. But will the jurors only 12? Now, if you was in the jury, you would convict, right? You would convict. Diddy definitely going to beat the charges. And there's the trump card also. Rogue Moonchild says, "What up? Shout out to you, Rogue. If it is proven he used drugs on victims, the freak. Now, no, you see, those drugs. I haven't heard any testimony yet of him actually drugging people. Remember all those lawsuits by Tony Busby? I haven't. Remember the underage stuff. I haven't heard that in the courtroom yet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it'll come to fruition. And like I'm saying, guys, Diddy's team is going to have a chance to cross-examine her. Technically, this is just her word. No records of her actually taking those drugs on the plane for Diddy's personal use. So really, here's another person testifying that, yeah, she did it on Diddy's behalf, but, there's no real hardcore evidence. They weren't stopped by TSA. They weren't this and that. But so that's, like I said, it's going to be high drama in the courtroom next week. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see how Diddy's cross-examine team go with that. Because if they flop with that, then the jurors might say, you know what? Yeah, he is a drug trafficker, right? I mean, he's a drug trafficker. And he trafficked drugs for his personal use. I mean, I guess if y'all want to look at it that way, if the jurors look at it that way, if they want to, they feel the pressure from the feds or the judge to go ahead and convict them, then Diddy will be convicted. But like I'm saying, this is going to be a photo finish, guys. This is not set in stone. This is not guaranteed, guys. Even if he is convicted, he has a strong case for appeal, says Tone Polo Solo Travel. If it is proven that he used drugs on the victims for freak-offs, Ray J is the drug dealer. Now, it's not that Ray J. It's not the Ray J I think. There was another Ray J. It's not the Ray J that was with the Kardashian. There was another Ray J. It wasn't that Ray J. A good lawyer tells their client the truth, not what the client wants to hear, money or not. Nah, well, a good lawyer does what Brian Steele did for Young Thug, got him a plea deal. That was a Fed case. That was a state case, right? But that was racketeering. He got him with the plea deal, 15 years probation. And like some people said, that was more of a federal racketeering case more than this. A good lawyer does what Brian Steele did last week, having the jurors pretty much applauding his cross-examination. And that's all that really matters. Nothing else really matters. Guidelines for sentencing don't matter. It's all about impressing that jury. That's why Diddy was nodding his head towards the jury when they were proving that he wasn't even present in LA to even hold her over the balcony on the 17th. What do the people that's saying Diddy is definitely guilty, what do y'all have to say about that? Doesn't that kind of like bring into question some of these witnesses that is testifying? Are y'all going to give Diddy's team that? Say, look, they did a good job of more than likely proving that girl was a liar? Or y'all not even going to give Diddy's defense team that they won that? Really? I mean, see, I'm trying to be unbiased over here. I tell you when the prosecutors get a win. Some people say they're getting a win right now. On paper, yeah, because of the putting the drugs on a plane, if y'all want to say, well, automatic sex trafficking because of the payment of the prostitutes, okay, they've scored some points. But like I'm saying, the defense is going to cross-examine her. She has zero evidence of that stuff happening. It's just her word versus his word yet again. And the cross-examination is going to be brutal. Now, I can't wait for the Diddy's defense team to make their case of why he's not guilty of this. And I can't, yeah, I kind of want them to explain the taking the drugs on the plane and how they say, if they want to bring that up, I just say, look, yeah, my client needs help. He's a drug addict, and he was kind of going to try to get drugs any way possible. Yeah, he knows it was probably wrong to have it, transferred to him so he can use on a plane. But he's an addict. Our client needs help. You know, he's not a classic drug trafficker. He's not selling drugs to people on the streets. He's not that. He's an addict that needs to get his drugs any way possible. Yeah, punish him for that if you want, but not he's not Pablo Escobar. Y'all are using drug trafficking loosely with this. Y'all are overreaching. Y'all are overstepping this. Y'all are overcharging. That's how I would play it if I was the defense. And that's if they want to even admit that what this girl was saying is because if she don't really have no hardcore proof that she actually transferred those drugs on the plane to Diddy, really, why should they really admit to that? To be honest with you, they weren't stopped by the TSA. They didn't find the drugs on them. So really, why should Diddy team actually really admit to that? To be honest with you, maybe they should just try to discredit her on some other stuff, and maybe the jury might believe that she's lying about everything that she testified to. So, like I said, it's going to be very interesting to see next week. What matters is how much time your client does not beating your chest in a cross-examination. Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, he got Young Thug off. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, the same lawyer that's doing this is the same lawyer that got Young Thug off with probation. Which people, like, everybody's saying, well, yeah, Young Thug, he got to go to jail. He has to get some time, right? You know, he's definitely going to get some time, right? You know, that's just right there. That's the if Diddy is in jail for 25 years, you think he cares how good his lawyers cross-examining was? But listen, is his lawyer supposed to go up there and do a trash job, as you're suggesting? His lawyers are getting paid to do the best they can to try to get him off. So if this guy that you see in the photo right there, so you think his lawyers is supposed to take payment and say, hey, thank you for the payment, Diddy, but you're going to get sentenced. We can't really do nothing for you. You know, blase. The feds have you. They had the rights, Diddy. So don't even pay us. Matter of fact, you don't even gotta send a check because you're as good as you're a goner. Maybe you should just hire a public defender to finish off this because I don't want to take your money, Diddy. Come on, bro. Come on, Rasta Saint. You're better than that, Rasta Saint. I'm a common sense person. You're better than that. You're better than that. They had a great case against Young Thug. Is Young Thug in prison right now? Is Young Thug in prison right now? Some legal experts said that the Rico was proven more with Young Thug than Diddy. This is more like a stretch. Maybe they guys, oh, guys, hit that like button, guys. I can't wait until the Diddy's team cross-examines this lady, Jane Doe, and I can't wait until they start making their case for Diddy being innocent of this. We know he's guilty of some stuff, guys. I'm just saying, this whole federal RICO racketeering might be a stretch by the federal government, and if they could use this on this type of case, they could use it on all types of cases, and it might set a bad precedent. I'm not saying Diddy's a good guy at all, but this is going to set a bad precedent, and you might find yourself on a federal racketeering trial one of these days for some nonsense. They did not charge you properly for your crime that you probably did commit, but at least you want to be charged properly and not overly charged. And you wouldn't want the feds to bring in some witnesses with just like circumstantial evidence that has probably been proven that it never really happened.
especially the one dangling over the balcony. That's huge. How can anybody look at that and say, "Oh, that's a nothing burger. Maybe she did lie." Dude, she testified that you was probably going to drop her 17 stories to her death. If she was found to be lying, she should be brung up on charges for lying about that. That's a huge lie. You don't know who Young Thug squealed on. I don't know if he did or not, Rasta Saint. But all I know is that was a racketeering case, uh, Rico case, and he's not in prison right now. So it's not automatic that you know that Diddy will get 15 years to life. Like I said, if I'm at the courtroom, guys, and I'm telling you what I'm hearing about the people that's inside looking at that jury, don't y'all guys realize that the jurors are the most important players in this? And I'm telling you that he has won the jurors' favor. So now the prosecution is playing they're playing at a position of weakness right now, even though they do have a 95% conviction rate. But that goes out the window once you start the trial, and the jurors or he and Han, because they are loving what Brian Steele is doing in defense of Diddy. That's what it matters. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter about our feelings. It doesn't matter about if we don't like Diddy at all. We think he beat her up. He did beat her up. It doesn't matter. It's about those jurors. Us, I can't find them guilty or not guilty. I'm not on a jury. Rasta, you can't find them guilty or not guilty. You got to watch just like everybody else. You can have an opinion, which I welcome your opinion. But if I'm here telling you, I'm at the courthouse, and I'm getting reports that the jurors are they are buying, even if you think it's BS and bull, what Diddy's team is selling, those jurors are buying. They're not buying what the prosecution is selling yet. I'm just going by reports of what I'm seeing and what people are telling me. I you know, I know some people don't like to hear the truth. I mean, it is what it is. Maybe things have changed. Maybe, maybe today I get some word that the jurors, was making their facial expressions, applauding the feds, applauding Jane Doe. You know, I mean, that's all we can really go on, because none of us really know 100% how each of those 12 individual jurors is going to how each one of those 12 jurors is going to put in as a verdict. We don't know. We don't know how. We don't know. We can only go on what we are seeing in the courtroom, and so far, all reports points to Diddy's team has won over some of those jurors. That's all, and all you need is one. All you need is one. I'm telling you guys, this may be an O.J. Simpson trial of the century result. Shout out to L.A. Wilkes. It is your opinion the jurors are signing with Diddy? That is not proof the jurors are signing with Diddy. Well, what am I here for? That's all I can give you, my opinion and what I'm seeing, and what reports is coming out of the thing. So I'm giving you my opinion on what the jurors seem like they are doing. Now, people that's in the courtroom could be misreading it, which is possible. They could have misread it, which is always a possibility. But what else am I just going to, like, I'm here to give you what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing. What else am I going to give to you as evidence why I feel how I feel? At least I'm giving you some plausible stuff and not just coming up here, yeah, they won a jury. I'm giving you the reason why I'm saying he has won over the jury so far. I'm just giving you, this is anecdotal though. It's going to be a photo finish. If I would have seen the jurors, or if people would have said the jurors were cheering on the prosecutors as they're putting out their case, if I would have seen that they said the jurors was, you know, sobbing as the victims were sobbing, then I would have said, well, the feds have won over the jury. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. Is that so hard to understand? Am I not supposed to put that out there? Because some of you guys want a slam dunk case to put Diddy in jail for 25 years. Yeah, I just wanted to be slam dunk. It's not going to be slam dunk. I'm telling you, it's not slam dunk. You guys are wishing and hoping it is. Rico, Rico, you got Rico. It's not a slam dunk. I'm telling you. That's what some of you guys want. You guys just want a slam dunk feds case, 95% slam dunk. No need to have no more of the trial. They already proved Rico. Lock him up. Throw away the key. I know how some of you guys think. Some of y'all don't even want Diddy to have a defense. Bro, I seen the testimony. I seen the defense. You can't just listen to the prosecutors, bro. If you go just listen to if you just believe every witness a prosecutor put up there, then you're going to believe the person that said he dangled her over the 17th floor balcony when he wasn't even in LA at the time. What do you have to say about that? Oh, you don't want to talk about that because it doesn't fit your narrative. I'm telling you, I believe the defense proved that she was lying about that. That's part of the trial too. That testimony, the defense is part of the trial too. So you're just going to ignore everything the defense is putting out there and just say, well, the feds. Every witness got to be telling the truth because it's the feds. There has to be some doubt with some of these witnesses now that that person got caught lying on the stand, that he dangled her. Who knows if this lady is lying? Who knows if Jane Doe not lying now? Just because it's a fed, just because she's a witness for the feds with no real receipts, with no real police report, that don't mean she's not lying. She could be telling the truth, but who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. Mistrial. Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand y'all passion. As I understand, people know Diddy is more than likely a very, very bad guy. I do understand it. You want to see him buried. You don't like what he did to Cassie. I hate what he did to Cassie. I think she was brainwashed. Yeah. I mean, that happens. I mean, but she was an adult. I mean, are you putting somebody in jail for 15 years to life for that? I mean, it's like that person who used to the drugs on the plane is like, yeah, I mean, can we charge the guy right? Like with the Kid Cudi Carr situation, I think he did that to Kid Cudi Carr. Now, Austin does fall underneath the Rico, right? But am I putting him in jail 15, 20 years for that? Because it falls under the Rico? Can I be allowed to force him to pay the $200,000 for that car, reimburse him? Because they made up, it seemed like they reconciled that besides the damage to the car. Can I, as a juror, can I force Diddy to pay him pay him double, pay him $400,000? The car was worth about, the Porsche was worth about $140,000. Pay him $300,000. Can I have that judgment? You know, I mean, all I'm saying, I think this is a stretch for a life. I mean, is this life sentence type stuff? Now, if the drug trafficking, if they were trafficking them, if that lady said, that Jane said, all right, hey, he told me to bring these drugs, and when I brung them, We distributed the drugs on the streets of LA. We was trying to be Pablo Escobar. That's different. She's talking about some ecstasy pills that she brought on the plane for them to use themselves. They get in him for Rico because he used violence across state lines. We'll see. We'll see if the jury believes that scumbag trading. Now they are saying he used intimidation, violence, using his bad boy enterprise as a front for his criminal activities. It seems like a whole lot of his criminal activities stem from relationships with Cassie, jealousy, threats, blackmail. But then again, is that worth life in prison? Yeah, crimes are committed, but is he overcharged? That's what y'all not getting. Is he overcharged? Is Ray J of all people? Was he actually right? Is he Nostradamus?
I feel like it's becoming a circus act for stuff that doesn't make any sense for what Diddy's being charged for. I mean, there's a lot of bad things happening, and we all agree with that. But a Rico, racketeering, sex trafficking, like I've been with Diddy a long time. And if I haven't seen any of these kind of heinous acts happening, then where was I when it was happening? If you told me that the Kardashians was being charged for racketeering, I might believe it. But Diddy, sex trafficking, and all these other extra things, like, it's, to me, knowing him, knowing the situation, being around with most of the people that's testifying, I just feel like there's somebody at the top who's making a statement, who's making a point. I'm sure Diddy got the point. Free Diddy, he got the point. He's chilling now.
That's not how it works.
I mean, man, I know, I get it, but I'm just keeping it real. Like, it's not okay to throw something extra on a man when the charges could have been something totally different.
Charges could have been totally different. If consensual sex is not a crime, you must turn it into an organized crime when you want to end that person. Like I'm saying, I mean, and it's a shame because really, if this person, Jane Doe, who's probably got immunity, I don't know if this person got immunity, but she says she took the drugs for Diddy on a plane. All right, then why isn't she being charged? Because she actually did the act of taking the drugs on the plane for Diddy. If that's the biggest thing that y'all gonna get him on, she actually did the transferring of the drugs in the plane. So why isn't she charged? If y'all are so hell bent to get him on that, if y'all think that was such a bad thing to take Diddy drugs for his own personal use, not to sell them on the streets, but his own personal use, why the hell isn't she charged? Because she did the act. She was the idiot. She was getting paid $10,000 a month. She's the idiot that decided to take the drugs for Diddy on the plane. Why the hell isn't she charged? So she gets off scot-free? Are y'all guys kidding me? Are y'all guys kidding me? So she has, as a grown lady, she has no fault in this. She don't know what's right or wrong, really. Basically, she was getting paid to do it, $10,000 for a rent, so she kept doing it. I don't want to hear about no brainwash with her. Oh no, Raze, no, but it's all Diddy. It's all Diddy, Ray. No, Diddy. No. Stop this. Nah, no. She actually did the stupidity of taking his ecstasy for him on the plane. So if you want to believe she did that, put her in handcuffs. If y'all want to make a big deal about that, if that's drug trafficking, well, she's a drug trafficker then. Why isn't she being brought to justice? She was getting paid $10,000 a month to do the drug trafficking then. How does she get the walk? How? But Ray, she probably worked out a deal, granted immunity to get the big fish, who is P. Diddy. They both used the drugs. They both used the ecstasy. But Raze, but brainwashing Razor Raze, brainwash. She was brainwashed. She couldn't control her urges to get that $10,000 a month. How else was she gonna pay her rent, Razor Raze? She had no choice. She had to do it. She had to pay that $10,000, Razor Raze. Diddy was supplying her $10,000, Raze. She couldn't just walk away from that, even though Diddy said, yeah, you don't have to do this anymore, but I'm not gonna pay you for not being with me. If you're not with me, I'm not gonna give you money. So she stayed 3 years, Razor Raze. I do know that. They have been flipping. I've been saying that. They've been flipping all these aides that work with them. But if it's that big a deal, something like that, if y'all going to make a big deal about the personal use of the drugs being in that plane, it's personal use, guys. It is a crime, but I think that it's exaggerated. This is being exaggerated, guys. And I'm just being honest. I know the feds really want him, but as a juror, do I want to help the feds get him? Now, if you would have brought me different types of charges, more personal charges, all right, let's get him on. Like, I don't like the idea of the Rico in this. Like, it's just too broad. It's just so much in it with it. Could I find him guilty on certain individual charges? Yes. But this whole Rico thing, I think it's setting a bad precedent with this. And they could bring in witnesses to testify, to flip without no real evidence that there's no even real evidence that she actually took the drugs in the plane. How do you even know she's not lying? You know what I'm saying? It's like, but y'all won't listen to me about that. Y'all not gonna listen to that. Well, Raze, but we gotta believe her. Why would she lie? Well, the person that said he dangled her off the 17th floor. Why did she lie? Why did she got caught up in the lie yesterday? Oh well, Raze, well, y'all not gonna bring that up. But this person miraculously, she's telling the truth 100%. Because the feds, they won't lie. The feds won't get a witness up. The feds vet all of their witnesses. They're not like Tony Busby. Well, they didn't vet the one from yesterday that got caught up in our lies. And that's a huge lie. No, but Raze, the feds, they don't miss. They don't miss. They don't miss, Raze. Well, they might miss this time. It's going to, like I said, it's going to be a photo finish. It is going to be a photo finish. And I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there for that verdict. If it even reaches that, maybe he'll settle a few days before the verdict. Maybe he'll just settle like Young Thug did. So many in this trial want no personal accountability. Yes, these are grown men and women saying they could leave because of rent or whatever financial or personal gain. Get the F out of here. These are truly sad people. Well, I can't disagree with that, Drew. For me, you got to show me the underage stuff. You got to show me the underage victims. Because then we're talking. Then we're talking about they can't consent. They were manipulated as underage. You know what I'm saying? Then that's a slam dunk, right? You're not showing me that. And I heard that when he was first arrested. I heard that. Hundreds from Tony Busby. I heard that. In those lawsuits. Well, they're not testifying under oath. Maybe because it's not true. They don't want to perjure themselves under oath. Why aren't those supposed underage victims who got assaulted by Diddy, why aren't they being caught? Do the prosecutors know it was BS, those lawsuits? Because why wouldn't they call them to really bury Diddy? Especially in front of those jurors. Because the jurors, I would think the jury or 12 would be like, well, this person was underage, testifying that Diddy did this. We got no choice but to find this guy guilty, right? And like I said, once again, if you want to believe that person's testimony, because like I said, unfortunately, and I would like to believe some of these females, I would, but they're not really bringing no evidence, 100%. So it's like, all right, I gotta, as a juror, I would have to say, all right, do I believe her? Does she have credibility on the stand? Does this one have credibility on the stand? Because the last one didn't, that said he dangled her. She didn't have no credibility. But maybe this one do. See, that's what I'm saying. These people coming in and saying this stuff without real evidence. Just, Raze, are you a Diddy defender? Well, call me what you want. But you better be saying that to the jury. I'm just saying about the jury. What I think the jury is going to end. I'm telling you about the dude. So you're one of those type of people that listened to that testimony yesterday, listen to that lady get caught up in a lie, and still say, just because I'm saying she got caught up in a lie, I'm a Diddy defender. So I got to side with, I got to dumb myself down just to make you happy, scumbag trading. I got to dumb myself down and say, yeah, you know what? They caught her in a lie, but these other people, they're not lying. Just so I won't be called a Diddy defender by you, scumbag trading. Personally, I don't give a damn what you call me, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know you, and I don't owe you. Pathfinder says Diddy is done. Now, Pathfinder, you heard the testimony that was from the lady yesterday that got caught lying on the stand that Diddy held her over the balcony, right? Would you agree that was a win? Because some of you guys are coming in here. Y'all won't even give the Diddy defense team a win for that. So I already know where a lot of you guys are coming from. You guys are just want him to be buried anyway. So you're not going to even be objective and really, listen to any of the cross-examination. You just say, well, he's guilty because the feds say so. And if the feds got a 95% conviction rate, I'm not going to do that. I'm not saying he's a good guy. I've been telling you guys this 100% of the time. I mean, I've been on these lives. I think he is guilty of some stuff. But I think maybe the feds overplayed this and overcharged them. Like Ray J said, I think, they overcharged them. And that might be their backfiring. That might be their down doing. But hey, we'll see. Come when they read the verdict. You didn't hit, bro. The girl said he dangled her off the 17th floor balcony, but he wasn't even in LA on that day to do that. And she really had no answer for that. They called her a straight up liar. They said, you're a liar. You lied in front of the courtroom. You lied in front of the ladies and gentlemen in the courtroom. They called her a liar. And that's huge. She didn't really, she said, no, that's not true. She wasn't forceful with her denial. They had receipts that he was at the Trump Hotel in New York. He was in Jersey too for a concert he was doing. So how he was in LA dangling her 17th floor balcony, threatening to kill her. And then a couple of days later, she goes to a Diddy concert, hanging out. She goes to an after party without her neck brace, which she claimed she had to wear. She said, well, maybe I should have worn it, but I didn't. Bro, they destroyed her yesterday. So they have destroyed a prosecution's FEDS federal witness. Caught her up in a lie, 99% that she was lying. So now I'm just supposed to blindly accept all this other testimony from people who is not really bringing evidence. It's just still words, just like the one that got caught up lying yesterday. No police reports, all words. See, one thing I don't want to be up here is that I'm not going to be a straight up classic outright Diddy defender. But what I also don't want to be is a biased Diddy hater also. I think the Rico Sticks Razor, it's a catch-all charge. Yes, I know. And like I said, they used this because they said it was easier to bring down the mob, the mafia. But do you think this is appropriate in this case? That's the thing. Maybe. Like I said, he might beat it, he might not. But I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people thought. It's going to be a lot closer. It's going to be a photo finish. It's going to be a photo finish. What it do, Ivan Curry? Shout out to you. Hit that like button, guys. Fans always overcharge. I think Diddy still doing time, though. He blew up a car and still think they got him on for Rico. Yeah, like I said, you can't call me a Diddy defender. I think he did blow up that man's car. So I'm the last person to call a Diddy defender. Yeah, I believe he blew up the car. What the problem is when I say the Rico hurts it if I was a juror, knowing that he's facing 15 years of life. If I convict him because I think he blew up Kid Cudi's car, and he's already made up with Kid Cudi, am I willing to do that as a juror? That's what I'm saying. Or the charges that he's facing 15 years of life, and I know he blew up that man's car. As a juror, am I going to help the feds out with this? Or should these charges have been something less where I can convict them, say, yeah, you are responsible for blowing up that man's car. Pay that man that money, $300,000. 6 months in prison. Do you get where I'm going with this? I'm not stupid. I know Diddy did some of this stuff. But now I'm realizing maybe he is overcharged. And as a juror, do I feel comfortable helping the feds out with this? Maybe causing this guy to get life in prison because the judge can sentence him to life. Now, if you were to tell me, well, he get 3 to 5 years and this and that, then I'll be more comfortable saying, yeah, he's guilty. But you telling me to put a man in prison for blowing up Kid Cudi's car? Now, if Kid Cudi was in the car, yeah, I mean, that's attempted murder. Then that's different, I don't know. I'm trying to put it in layman's terms for you guys. I'm trying to be common sense person up here. No, but Kid Cudi wasn't in the car. Kid Cudi was not in the car, scumbag. So it's not attempted first-degree murder. So that's where you got that wrong. That's wrong by you. You're wrong by a mile. You're wrong by a mile. See, that's why I'm here to give y'all guys what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, you're wrong. Kid Cudi never said that Diddy tried to blow him up in the car. Oh my goodness. Hit that like button though. Subscribe to the channel. I personally never liked Diddy, but if they don't have proof, he will get off on a Rico. Yeah, this is all circumstantial evidence. A lot of this stuff still to this, even with this Jane up there. Now I can believe that. Yeah, she did take the drugs on there, but do I really care? It's for personal use. That's what I'm saying. Do I really care? Am I going to help the feds out? That's why I'm glad I'm not on that jury. I'm glad I'm not on that jury. They trying to frame it because they asked her the question. You know how they asked her the question? Did you move drugs for Diddy? Making it seem like she moved drugs to LA for him to sell in the streets of LA, for him to sell drugs in the streets of Compton, like some big drug dealer. No, it was she moved drugs for him, right? For them to use inside their hotel room for the freak-offs, some ecstasy pills. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. What are we doing here? Now, if you wanted to charge him property for that, a separate charge out of this Rico, say we have evidence, not just her word that she did that for you. That's illegal. That's possession of drugs, trying to get on a plane. How many years is that, guys? How many years is that, Your Honor? I'll be more comfortable as a jury, if they show evidence that happened. Yeah, I'll find them guilty of that. I don't like the blanket Rico, to be honest with you. That's what I'm getting at. I don't like the blanket Rico. I think that's a dirty tactic by the feds for this type of stuff. These freak offs and consenting adults. Yeah, there was some stuff going down in it, but I just think that this is just maybe an overreach. There were crimes committed, but let's charge them for those crimes. Let's have them pay for those crimes individually. Let's have them sentenced properly. I don't think this stuff is worth life in prison. Especially when a lot of these victims were paid off anyway, and they have pretty much reconciled. You know, they kept going back to them. You know, it's like, you know. Rico is that stuff where you know, Sammy the Bull Garano with the whole 19 murders and stuff like that. You know, that's Rico. That's the racketeering that I know. And when you start trying to use it for stuff like this, it really, you know. Hello, Charlotte Moore. They don't know who actually threw the Molotov. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I can agree that Diddy did do that. He had somebody do that, you know. I can agree that he did, but he wasn't trying to kill Kid Cudi. You know, it wasn't an attempted murder. Now, I would force him to pay for that man's car. Want to give him 6 months in prison for that? Yeah, I mean, you could do that. But like I said, you know, the overcharging is what I would have the problem. I wouldn't feel comfortable on the jury. That's why I'm not on the jury. They would have had to dismiss me because, first of all, if y'all want to say, well, it's automatic sex trafficking because he got the people to cross state lines. Okay, yes, and if a judge was the one convicting him, he would find him guilty of that. But jurors have their own opinions on that, and some of them jurors might feel like me, right? That should not be a sex trafficking because they weren't forced. They were adults. They were minors. They went for a payday. Yeah, they took a plane over there. Okay, whip-de-dee-do. That's not hardcore sex trafficking to me personally, so I wouldn't find them guilty of that. I don't care what the law says. So you would have to dismiss me as a juror. Those are consenting adults here trying to get paid. Now, you want to charge them for prostitution and prostitution illegal? Okay. What's the charge on that? Can we get them for prostitution? Okay. As a juror, okay, yes. Now, what's the maximum you could give them or the minimum for that? That's what I'm saying. The more and more I see the testimony and what they're trying to hit them with, I'm like, you got to show me the underage people that's involved in this. You got to show me the people that were forced, held down against their will, and to go ahead and participate in this stuff. And you got to have evidence of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not just words from people that's trying to use to get lawsuits. And that kept going back and sending him love letters saying, yeah, Diddy, I love you. But they were brainwashed. Come on now. I mean, you got to show some more receipts. Something, a police report, something, for the love of God. Even though I kind of want to believe you, but you talk about putting a guy in life for in prison for life. Bingo. Now they should have arrested Diddy when he went inside Cuddy's home without his permission, put Cuddy's dog in the bathroom. Bingo. Yeah. Now if I was on that jury, I'd be more inclined to find him guilty because you know what? Now he's charged properly, right? Yvonne Curry, the sentencing guidelines is going to be proper to that crime. That's what I'm saying. I can find him guilty of the arson. I can say, yeah, he did commit the arson. Now, what is the sentencing guideline? Well, really, it won't really matter at that point because that's going to be the judge's decision to sentence him, right? I'll just be sitting in the jury. I don't like this lumping this old stuff from years ago and putting it all in a Rico and this and that. That is, like I said, a lot of stuff has already been remedied between Kid Cudi and Diddy. It was over that. It was over a woman. You know, it's all adults doing adult things, acting stupidly, doing some crimes in between. But like, do I feel comfortable putting them like that's burglary is a C felony as well with arson, looking at 15 years still. But like I said, the victim and the person that did the crime, they already talked about it, bro. They shook on it. It was over. So now I'm going to put him in jail for that, like 15 years. Like, that was 14 years ago. That's over with. Like I said, if he was arrested at the time, then we could talk. I don't feel comfortable helping the federal government out with this, guy. I'm just going to be honest with you. This might be a slight overreach. Now, I could see, I'm not stupid, I could see where they are pasting together something where you can say, yeah, this could be federal Rico racketeering. I could. I'm not stupid. But me as a juror, I would not feel comfortable with this. I wouldn't want to be a part of this, to be honest with you. I wouldn't want to be a part of it. I would ask to be excused from the jury, to be honest with you. I'm like, nah, I just can't see myself finishing out. I wouldn't want to be a part of this. Because first of all, I'll be like, well, I have my feelings on that trafficking stuff. Anyway, it's like, you know what? Let me find another juror because I don't want to, because if he is guilty, I don't want to be like, I don't want to hang the jury. So I asked to be removed. The case is not Kid Cudi versus Diddy. It's government versus Diddy. Cudi's feelings are not relevant. Well, like I said, the feelings of that jury is relevant, and they were he and hawing over the Diddy's defense team. That's what you're not realizing. But I'm telling you what I know. Those jurors is not buying what you guys are selling. They're not buying what the government is selling. They probably feel like I do right now. Some of them. Hence why they were cheering on the Diddy's defense team. Why else would they be doing that? If it was so clear cut, this is Rico, this is this, automatic, guilty. No, it's not. There's some gray area there. Because all the jury could say, well, yeah, he probably did do that. He probably did take those drugs. Well, had her take the drugs to him on a plane. But you know what? There's no hardcore evidence. Not guilty. What's to stop one juror from doing that? Now, if there was hardcore evidence, then that one juror can't do that. When you do interviews and stuff like that, he can't say that. But really, you're giving a juror that don't really want to find him guilty an out. You're giving him an out. But that one juror can say, well, yeah, she said she did that. But the person that testified for the witness the day before that claimed Diddy hung her over the balcony, she was lying. So why should I believe this witness that the feds put up there? She has no evidence either. There's no paperwork that she got caught with drugs on her. There's no evidence that even if she did have the drugs, that she gave it to Diddy for him to use. Maybe it was just for her own personal use. You get where I'm going with this, guys? This is not a slam dunk prosecutor. I'm telling you, I see some funny business. I see maybe a hung jury. I'm telling you, I did not think this when I first seen it. The Rico charges isn't about one crime; it's about a pattern. Yeah, and that's what the prosecutors tried to say yesterday, that this girl was testifying because the judge asked, why is this girl here? What does this have to do with the charges? They said, well, it shows a pattern of violence, not only to Cassie, but to other people in the circles. So this girl is here to testify that Diddy held her over a balcony and threatened to kill her. Well, she was proven 99% lying. So right now, all right, if I'm the defense, well, the prosecutors have a pattern right now of putting a person that we have proven that lied on the stand yesterday. So now the pattern is to bring up a woman to testify with no real evidence, just he said, she said. How do we know a pattern is not forming now of women going up there lying? She might not be lying, but you get where I'm going? These are junkies on the stand. These are junkies on the stand. They got high. Lots of drugs together. Right, well, my state senator at the time, who was also my substitute teacher, convinced the arresting officer not to book me. Otherwell, what you talking? What happened, Otherwell? What happened with you? Raze, I think what the feds are trying to do is show the jury how terrible Diddy was. Yeah, well, yeah, I know. But really, it's like, we all know. I know Diddy was a terrible guy already. I know that. If I was in a jury, I would yawn. I know that already. We knew that before you even arrested him. Yawn. I'm just saying, charge the guy properly. So as a juror, I can do my job and not have him get over sentenced. I think there was some crimes committed. I'm not stupid. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know how y'all feel. I don't feel comfortable putting him in life with jail. I just don't. For what I'm hearing right now, the underage stuff didn't come to fruition. I think that was the main thing. Really, I was like, yo, that's horrible what he's allegedly did, drugging underage people and doing this stuff. I mean, but where is the testimony? Well, maybe they bring, maybe, because there's still time. There's still time for the more witnesses to come. And maybe, it'll come. Maybe. I would have faced 5 years if I violated my probation for B and E. Oh. Doesn't matter if they made up same with domestic violence. If female doesn't want to press charge, the state will step up and charge you. Yeah, I know that. And you know what? They should have stepped up and charged them for that. For the domestic violence then. Why didn't they step up and charge them for domestic violence? I would have way more comfortable on the jury saying, yeah, I can't, he's guilty of that. That's a slam dunk. And he could have got a good considerable amount of time, scumbag trading. But they want life. They want Yeah, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm here. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? Hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Hit like button. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Like I said, guys, I believe Diddy. I'm gonna throw y'all a bone. I believe Diddy is a very bad person. But like I said, I don't. I'm still, not comfortable with helping the feds out with this. So y'all can take it how y'all want to take it. I mean, it is what it is. But we are going to still be covering this. Raze, I still ain't hear you bring up any of the financial crimes IRS gonna frisk. Bro, you haven't been paying attention to my. I covered the CFO, his chief financial officer. I mentioned the $20,000 payout. I mentioned the $100,000 bribery. I said the prosecutors had a great day that day. You gotta follow the channel more. Y'all guys gotta hit my notification bell. I covered that. I covered that. But the problem is, right after that great day by the feds, Diddy's defense, they put that female up there, that alleged victim Mia, and they ripped her apart. And that was the lasting memory for the jury. It's about the jury. And the jury was applauding. Don't you understand what I'm saying? Some of these jurors, they are championing Diddy's defense team. They love Brian Steele. This is not a slam dunk conviction. I'm telling you. We're gonna be back here in like a couple of weeks, and y'all gonna be like, you know what? That damn Razor Raze was right. And I said they need to stop putting these female witnesses or alleged victims on the stand, because the cross-examining by Diddy's defense team is scoring them points. Brutal. I said the prosecutors probably need to stay with the money trail. Now the IRS, now the CFO said there was no funny business with the taxes. They paid their taxes. The taxes was done right. That's what he testified. The chief financial officer of Bad Boy Records. He did say that $20,000 was wired into the Bad Boy account from Diddy's parents. I mean, not Diddy's parents, Cassie's parents. And remember, Cassie's mom testified that she had to send him $20,000 or he was going to release the freak off tape. And I said, this is bad for Diddy. I said that. I said it was right. This is horrible for Diddy and the defense team, because that's blackmail that could fall underneath the Rico with those wire transfers. But he did send the money back a week later to Cassie's parents. They sent them $20,000, but then a week later he sent it back to the account of the Diddy's parents. So there's that. And I mentioned about the $100,000 for the tape. I went through all of that. He did pay it, but there was no police investigation going on during that time. So technically, he was not hiding evidence from the police, even though we know why he was doing it. But there was no active police investigation because Cassie never pressed charges. The security guards, they not police. He didn't bribe police. If that was a police officer he got the tape from, yeah, he's guilty of that. So that's why I was asking y'all guys the question: does that prove Rico? Should the how would a jury, and the jury, knowing all that, they were applauding Diddy's defense team once they got the female on the stand to cross-examine her, which her name was Mia, victim number 4. And they were applauding, cheering, which drove Tissa Tails crazy. She was mad at that. And this was after that whole $20,000 and $100,000 thing was revealed. Seems to me the jury don't give a damn about that. Some people in the jury, That's what I'm saying. Look out. Watch out. This is coming down to the wire. This is not a slam dunk. I'm telling you, because of the jurors, human beings. Did they know why Cassie parents sent the money? Well, Cassie's mom went on the stand like 2 weeks ago and said that Diddy blackmailed her. Said that if she don't send the money, he's gonna release Cassie's freak off videos. You know, and I said that's a bad look for Diddy. I said maybe the feds have got him. I said that, but then to come back the next day and the jurors be cheering on Diddy's defense team, what else am I gonna say, guys? It's in that the jurors don't care. Some of them care, but I the people that have the power to convict Diddy, it seems like they don't give a damn about that $20,000 payout. It seems like they don't care because it's out there. They're the ones going to make the decision, guilty or not guilty. I mean, I'm just going by what they're doing, the way they're behaving. If that was the death knell for Diddy, well, the jurors sure as hell didn't seem like it was. And that's the only people's opinion that really count, to be honest with you. So I'm just going off what I'm seeing as I'm at the trial and what people are reporting to me, telling me personally, as they are watching the jurors inside that courtroom. That's all I'm relaying to you guys. That's what I'm saying. This is not a stand. This is gonna be a photo finish. Now maybe the feds can win them over. Maybe it switches. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. Raze, imagine your girlfriend pays you 10K a month to sleep with a bunch of women while she watches some jurors looking at it like that. Yeah. Hey, I would love for my girlfriend to pay me $10,000 a month to sleep with her and some other people. Yeah, hey, sign me up. All right, can y'all hear me now? Hit that like button, guys. Can y'all hear me now? Well, I'm about to break out of here anyway. So yes, but yeah, I think we had enough of this. Great spirited debate. I'll come back live later on with some updates. I appreciate all you guys. It's gonna be a photo finish, guys. Some of you guys might get what you want. He might be found guilty, but like I said, I have a sneaky suspicion that it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. I'm always gonna say right now. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm Raze, and I am out.